Hello, welcome to another episode of Forward Podcast for collecting ideas to force forward gender equality. In India, in the last few years, we have seen a significant bridging of gender gaps in the education space, especially in primary education, because now girls are getting educated at equal and sometimes even higher rates than boys. But beyond that, there is still a huge gap because women's labor force participation in India is mysteriously continuing to remain low, much lower than what it should be at this juncture of India's economic growth. And the reasons for that continue to be many. But to unearth a lot of these issues and to understand solutions that work, I am speaking to people who are, working on the ground and seeing and observing these realities of women every day, as part of their work. Which is why today I have invited Parul Mehra. She is the Chief of Projects and Corporate Affairs at ETASHA. It's a 2-decade-old NGO working in the space of skilling and training youth and women from underprivileged backgrounds to become employable and generate incomes. So welcome, Parul. I'd like to begin by first asking you to introduce yourself, give us a bit of your background.
Hi, Shravani, and congratulations on starting this because we know that there is still a huge gap when we talk about a gender equal world. And I'm so glad to be here today. So, my name is Parul Mehra, and I've been with the social service sector for the last 25 years after I completed my master's in psychology and did my PG diploma in population ecology. I think while studying these two subjects, I realized that where whatever my education can, bring in some kind of change would be in the social service sector. And I'm so glad that I push myself to really look at those kind of organizations or projects which were working on behavior change and mindset change. So I started to look for those kind of organizations, and I've been lucky. I've been working in ETASHA Society, like you said, for the last 17 years. And we've been working with communities in Delhi, NCR, Haryana, Rajasthan, some parts of UP, and couple of our interventions are pan India. So I'm glad to be here with you and to discuss a bit more about what we do on ground and how we are trying to bridge this gap of gender inequality. So we want to make it equal, want to
Yes.
get more girls into workforce participation, get women into entrepreneurship, get girls who finish school and do not drop out because of lack of scholastic ability. So yeah, here I am, and I'm so glad I'm talking to you. For my personal background, I'm a mother of two. Luckily, both boy and a girl, and my daughter is working in Mumbai, and my son is studying in fourth year. And yeah, so that's I guess about me.
Wow, wonderful. Uh, that's very nice. So can you like elaborate a little bit more about what exactly Tasha is doing, especially towards enabling women?
Oh, yes. Dr. Meenakshi Nair set it up in 2006. She's from an HR background, and I think that's what pulled her into the time when, the service sector was growing, and she found that gap and wanted to really set up an organization which could act like a bridge between the young people who have a lot of potential from the underprivileged communities and link them to the service sector industry. As well as, while we were working with youth, we also figured that the mothers, or those who've been in the child rearing activity and looking after their children, now were looking to us to help them do something and become financially independent. That's when we launched the entrepreneurship program in 2016. And that's when we started working with women um, who was super excited to join such a program, because that was going to change the tables, right? From them asking for
Yeah.
money, they were uh, turning around and then saying that, oh, kids, you want this, or husband wants to buy this. I am earning now. Here's the money. So that was that, and we've been working with high school students. Boys and girls, and we've been training them to uh, become digitally literate, um, working on their English, Hindi, math, the foundational courses, because we've been working both in rural and urban. And where we see in the rural areas, there is a huge gap. Even a grade 8th or ninth class student does not know the basic alphabets, or does not have the basic numerical ability. And that's where we designed a program, thanks to Asar, when we were assessing them on their abilities. Basis that, we designed a program, and we've been able to bridge that gap and get them to at least complete their 10th and 12th standards. So, yeah, a lot of different interventions where we feel that there is a gap, we've been designing, because ultimate goal is for them to become financially independent, socially independent, as well as emotionally, economically independent. So that's been our journey, and that's why we've been working for the last 2 decades almost. Yes.
Yeah, nice. Because yeah, I mean, I think that's what's coming out, right? The employability, the skilling. That's what the education system is probably not providing. And like you mentioned, digital skills, uh, getting employment ready. That's what is most important. So I mean, talking a little bit further on that, in terms of becoming economically independent, like for boys it's a no brainer, but how how do we convince families or girls that girls need to become economically independent, and what kind of change does that bring, and what does it require to make these girls economically independent, and what kind of change does that bring to families and societies, so which we can actually use as to promote the mindset change at that level. So if you have any insights on that from your work, I mean, I know you have a lot, but if you can share something.
Right. So initially, when ETASHA was set up in one of the communities, the first 5 years of it being set up, we had more boys coming in and enrolling in our vocational training program. And once the center was set up, the computer education became like a hook, that was being created. The girls were being uh, 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 you know, uh, sort of, they were getting excited that what is it that these boys are going to learn where we are not getting an opportunity. The next 5 years, we saw a remarkable increase in the number of girls coming in and joining our vocational training program. So that was like that one thing that we saw, that there were girls who were wanting to look at skill development as one of the added features to their growth. Also, like you said, that boys, of course, it's a done thing that they have to earn, and yeah, they are allowed to go and travel for work. Whereas with girls, it came with zillions and millions of constraints. So when we were getting them for skilling, yes, the parents were pretty all right that, okay, especially in the Delhi NCR area, they were fine that no, it's good for the girls to go in and learn computers or communication skills, interpersonal skills, the modules that we were running, that was fine. But as soon as we would say that this kind of a program will only be relevant if they use it in the job that they're going to work. So like any other, like child rearing also requires the whole village to really raise a kid. Similarly with the girl, convincing the father, mother, relatives, the community, the whole ecosystem we had to work with, even the recruiters who were recruiting the girls. So there were times when, the girls would have to do, stay back a little longer in the shift. That required for us to intervene and to tell the parents it's all right, it's not like a daily thing, because I'm talking 10 years ago, it was not very easy, right? But when we started creating those kind of role models, where this girl who was the first in her family, in her community, in fact, who completed graduation, who got the job, and this was in communities where we also talk about minority communities also. So there it was like a big thing that, oh, how can this girl go out and work in a 9 to 5 kind of a job? But once her parents and her ecosystem was convinced, she set the example in her community. Everybody wanted to be, oh, we also want to join the program that she did, we also want to go and earn, because once they started earning, it was like a regular income coming home with the benefits. So whether it was provident fund or ESI, or the company was giving them medical insurance, it changes the whole family's status. And so once we started creating those kind of examples, whereas in the rural area where the projects that I've been working in, which is Haryana, so for example, Sonika, who we had to convince for, I mean, it took us what, 2 3 weeks to convince her father to let her go and join the retail sector. He was like, no, we are from the higher caste, we can't allow our daughter to go and work, what will the community say, all those kind of things. We said, okay, get her married off, that's fine, but give her 6 to 8 months, let her work and let her get the experience of working. She worked, she saved 1.5 lakhs for her father, and she gave that to her father. Father didn't know what to do. He had tears in his eyes. He said, I don't know what to say. I mean, she's like my son. I said, don't say that. I mean, she's your daughter, but she's, you know, giving you her savings. Now you get her married or whatever you want to do. And it doesn't stop here. So she's married now. She has a daughter of her own. She has been convincing her mother in law that now you take care of my daughter. She's 1 year old. I want to get back to work. She's got that voice. She's assertive. She is going out there and she wants to make a better life for her daughter. And that's the change we're talking about. That's a very conservative village that Sonika comes from, right? So it has to be, and we cannot just say that, oh, we're going to just train and placement. And no, it has to be a lot of work so that we can look at mindset change and behavior change. And that's why we have a lot of hasinas, sonikas, uh, hina. I have so many examples that I can go on, and I don't think you'll have that much time to hear all the stories. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, I hope, we get to hear their stories now. There are so many platforms because they can be role models. So I have some follow-up questions to what you were just saying. So the first thing I was wondering is, what are the kind of jobs that these girls take up after you train them, after you give them the vocational training? What are the areas that they can work in?
So our Shravani, our courses cater to the service sector industry, which is retail, hospitality, e-commerce, IT, ITES, office automation. That is working as admin and receptionist. Then another course is where we get them ready for the accounts department. So that course is specific to the back end accounts or cashier kind of job roles. Then we also work with the ITIs, which are industrial training institutes, where they run technical, non-technical courses, and where we do the employability skills development program. So their courses could be from plumbing to machinist to a computer operator, programming assistant, or a stenographer, fashion technology. So then then those students, after completing our course as well, we help them to get placed in the relevant sectors where they have taken the technical training. So those are the kind of sectors. We have a lot of girls now working in stores like Chroma, Uniqlo, Hamleys. Those are the high-end stores, and even Policy Bazaar, even as fundraisers in organizations. So basically, what where we started from, uh, the girls would be choosing the not so I would say challenging careers. They would be like, okay, data entry operator or receptionist, those kind of roles. Now they are like moving into the sales roles, and they are taking home double, triple the salary, as incentives. So that change we have seen happening in the last 17, 18 years. Yes.
That's nice. I mean, that's nice to hear. And so I was just wondering, like, with this financial independence that comes, uh, with respect to marriage, are they able to now negotiate that I want to get married a little later, and that pressure on getting married at 18, below 18, does that change? Have you seen that?
In the rural area, not really, but in the urban area, we do have a lot of cases where they have been able to negotiate that, okay, let me work for, some time, and then I'll get married. That we've been seeing that trend, we've been seeing. But in the rural areas, what I've been also seeing is that the father-in-law, the mother-in-law are getting their daughter-in-laws to enroll in the programs, and they have been supporting their daughter-in-laws to become employable, as well as some of them to take up jobs. Definitely, I think that is one trend that I'm really excited about. And they said, no, no, the kids are fine. We look after the children. You go and you support in getting home money, and I mean, that way. So
Mhm.
that I've
So
seen
these are in the rural areas, you said, huh?
in the
In
rural areas.
in
Yes.
states like Haryana.
Yes. Yeah,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say, I wouldn't put a percentage to it, but yes, because
No,
we
no.
work in a village, and we work village wise, and we look at strengthening that whole village ecosystem. In there, I would say from the higher caste, I have seen, in-laws bringing in the supporting their daughter-in-laws to come in and join the program, and they have also joined our project as well, working with us in the project. And we also go into the field, right? So the mobilizer is supposed to be going door to door and talking to the community, talking about our program. So when a couple of our trainees joined us as mobilizers, that was like a fight that, oh, should I cover my head or shouldn't I cover my head? I mean, we were like, okay, you're a professional here. Nobody is like your, seniors. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's like also a thing that they don't see us covering our head, right? In the office where we
Yes,
are
yes,
in a
yes.
professional
Yeah,
environment of
yeah.
sorts. But yeah, they've been able to work around that as well. So I guess, yeah, they really enjoyed
Nice.
working
So
with
basically,
on those projects with
yeah.
that.
So this the when a professional identity develops, it for the woman and for the family, and that's different from the personal identity. That's, I think, that's a very interesting thing that's happening with women. Okay,
Absolutely.
so
She
the other
she
thing that
gets
you
to
do, you are
be part of the decision-making process, Shavani, and that I've heard from so many of our trainees, who've been working. They say, "Oh, earlier nobody used to ask us for any opinion or any thing that no, she's a kid, let her, but now they say, okay, what do you think? And I think that is a positive change. Yeah.
wonderful. Yes, very nice to hear. Okay, so you also enable women to become entrepreneurs, to start uh, be- a business in rural areas. So tell me a little bit about the work you do and what you see are the on-ground challenges, some of the challenges, and what is working, what really helps within in your target audience.
Sure. So our entrepreneurship program is both in the urban as well as the rural area. And first of all, I mean, it's easier to first figure out what skills do they already have. So whether it is they know how to do the work in the with the cattle, they know how to work, they know stitching or any other skill that they have. What Itasha does is that we do the entrepreneurship development training, because to become an entrepreneur you also need an entrepreneurial mindset. So of course, once we filtered out those candidates who really have the risk taking ability and wish to set up their own business, that's where when we start our work and we start our hand holding process. So from keeping how to maintain accounts, how to keep your cash book, how to do your daily transactions, the backward linkage, forward linkage, basically the marketing becomes like the biggest challenge, like the challenge that you talk about, and that's where it's like a make or break of any business, right? So that is what we really help the women with the forward linkage, handhold them for a year, and then or maybe 2 years or maybe 3 years, depending on what kind of business it is, and we take them through the whole process till they are self-sustaining. Meera ji, who's started soap making manufacturing unit, she's been, she started this during COVID, and she's been on her own now for the last 1.5 years, she's been training other women to, set up soap making business. She's added candle making also to it, so that she's got not one product range but another product range to supplement. Zarina, who set up a vegetable store, started with just a cart, and now she has a little stationery store. Started with 4,000. She's earning 60,000 bucks a month. We have another entrepreneur who's a momo maker, right? So momos are like a big attraction with the young people. So she knew how to make momos, but what we did was we got her some extra upskilled, her by adding some extra momo product line, to it. And from one little wooden cart, now she's got two carts, and she says, Zomato it is, and she's now on Zomato. You can order momos
Oh,
from her from
nice.
Zomato. And
Nice.
yeah, so there's another lady who started with macrame, crochet products. They became like a very fashionable thing. And now she's got 8 women, assisting her. So that is what we want to talk about, that it's not easy for a woman to really invest so much time on a business and making it profitable if she does not have the family support, the children or the husband. So all these entrepreneurs, we cannot work just with them. We work with the whole family. We try and convince them. We try and figure out, who the vendors are, who are the what is the local market nearby, so that that's the hand holding piece. Once we've done that, then I think the day to day small challenges are easy for them to deal with. So yeah, that's how we've been working.
Very nice. I think, what I understand from all of this is there's a lot of potential in women which has been lying low, and with the bit of hand holding and support and breaking these shackles, there's so much that they can do. I mean, once the support is there, and they can do anything that they want. Uh, and it's great. I
And
mean,
Shavni, the
I'm sure it gives you.
confidence that they get, the confidence, I mean, the minute you've made your first deal or you've got your first salary, the once the money is in your hand, and the I mean, you can see the glow on their face, or I mean, that is another level altogether. Yeah,
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So, and I'm sure, like, even like when you see this, is like you can see on impact of whatever you're doing. Small things make a big change. So that's really nice. I mean, these give
absolutely.
you hope that there's, if we scale up these kind of interventions, a lot more can happen. Uh, yeah, wonderful. Uh, so just one more thing you mentioned about, ecosystem, and in your ecosystem, uh, a lot of the work of NGOs of the social sector is dependent upon funding, and a lot of it is now coming from corporates from the CSR bucket. So, any insights you have in terms of making that a little stronger, or that kind of support which you need to support women? Uh, Anything which can help them help you, or help strengthen your work? Any insights you have on that?
The only thing that we have been talking about and we have been pushing is long-term funding, because the kind of work that we do, where we are talking about behavior change, we're talking about mindset change, it can only happen when we have a long-term project, which is and luckily for us, we've had a couple of corporations, not couple, maybe more, who have been supporting us year on year. And that's why we have been able to see the change, and look at also now we can say that, okay, we can exit this kind of a community. We worked here, we've made the change, we've created role models, we've created that kind of an ecosystem. We can move, we can take our program, replicate that program into another community, and we can work on the same model, because we work with the school system. We start working when they are in grade 8th. We work till they are in grade 12th on different interventions. Then once they are done with the 12th, they come to our skill development center, where we work on vocational training, get them jobs, or if they want to set up their entrepreneurial setup, they do that. Also work with the family, the women in the family, so it could be mothers, and also work with the men in the community, because without their support, without the influencers, without the stakeholders, this kind of a behavior change and a mindset change project cannot work.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's very wonderful to hear. Because that's the kind of insights that we need to share with all stakeholders of the ecosystem. So they actually know what they have to do and why do they need to do what they're doing and why it's so important. So wonderful. I mean, great to learn about your work and the impact that you're creating. Let me ask you a few questions about you, like personally. So one thing that I would really like to know is who have been your role models, especially any women who have influenced your career, your life, in your work.
Can't name just one, a lot of them. So within my family, both my grandmothers, my nani as well as my dadi, they have been trailblazers, because they did their masters. My nani took a step further. She was not in a good relationship. She decided to she chose to be a single mother. She became a scholar, head of the department, very, very assertive, very sincere, hardworking, wrote so many books. I guess they paved the path for the girls in the family. No questions were asked whether you want to study, whether you want to work, or this thing is not for a girl to do. Those kind of conversations were never a part uh, of, it wasn't a discussion at all. You choose, you state, you have a voice in the family, and I'm really thankful to those two. My mother, who's also been a career woman, and had managed, having lived in a joint family, managed that with a full-fledged career, being head of the department, did her PhD when both me and my sister were really young, looked at how professionally she can grow, how as a person she was growing. Till date, she is doing courses, online courses. She's digitally savvy. She I mean, that is the kind of mindset that we all have learned, how to have a growth mindset. Learning to learn is an attitude which we at ETASHA also, promote, and also within the family, with my children, with whoever we talk to. It's very, very important to have that kind of a mindset. So these three women, of course, have been super influential in my life. My mother-in-law, um, she became a widow early on in life. She brought up her two sons, very financially very, very on point, And I don't know how she managed it, but uh, she did. She brought up my husband to be a feminist, and that's how both of us, in partnership, brought up our children in a gender neutral household. And mm, I guess my husband is also my role model because he's a champion of feminism, as well as he gives confidence to all of us. He himself keeps studying and keeps evolving with a similar growth mindset. My children, they are my role models. The way they are, they're woke adults these days. This word is really the in thing. They're woke,
Mm.
right? And it is
Yeah.
so much fun to talk to them, discuss issues, discuss things. uh, and it's like, now, of course, because they are adults, not because they are adults, but as kids also, as they were growing, that kind of an energy flew in the house that, let's communicate, let's talk about it. What is it that you wish to do? What is it that, the world, where the world is going, those kind of conversations, I feel. Yeah, I guess, I mean, my family has been really, really influential in terms of me being the person that I am. And if I looked outside, I guess every woman who's an ETASHA beneficiary, who's fighting it, who's making it in this world, who's showcasing how, just by giving that little push, she's able to evolve. They're also my role models. So yeah, I mean, the list is long. You are a role model as well. The way you are working towards, the policy, and the way you are bringing in this conversation, I think it's going to be really useful and very relevant, very important at this point of time. Yes.
Thanks for that. But I mean, I think, even I would say that, but we are, I think, one of the few lucky women to have. I mean, if you have so many strong career women showing
Yeah.
the way, paving the way for you, it just kind of, I mean, the kind of mindset that you will be brought up with, and to have a husband like that, I mean, of course, I mean, not many people have that kind of privilege, but
I mean,
they,
I forgot to mention my dad. Sorry. I mean,
huh.
my dad has been my champion, and whatever feathers I have in my wings and I'm flying, all these people have added those. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's why someone like you is able to, bring that uh, sentiment, take that sentiment to girls, and now.
All should be giving each other.
Yes. So actually, so another question. Now you see, you observed your grandmother, your mother, you yourself have been a career woman. Any advice, you would like to share from what you've learned from your experience in terms of, building a support system? I mean, you had an enabling husband, so that's been a privilege. But every day we have to, build some kind of support to go out to work, come back home, look after the kids, the in-laws, and to bring up, any advice on bringing up kids, uh, a boy and a girl, in a way that they both are uh, turn out to be human beings who respect men and women equally. And so anything that comes to your mind that you would like to share.
I think just enable your ecosystem. Just try
Hmm.
and convince people, because it's not only the immediate people around who are bringing up the children, who are influencing the children. It's also the relatives. I mean, there are so many wrong practices which we keep following blindly. I think one needs to take a stand, and one needs to stop those kind of things. Uh, it might take 1 month, it might take a year to convince them to, stop certain practices. Um, in a household where a boy is treated differently than a girl, I think that was the first thing that I wanted to dismiss in my household, specifically because I have both the genders in the house. And whether it was relatives, whether it was friends, oh, you're not doing this for your son, oh, you're not doing this for this. I said, no, I'm not. I don't believe in it. Right? So explaining them logically, uh, because I mean we get so much pressurized by the social norms and
Yeah.
all that. I think that is what we need to really somewhere cut. I mean, my daughter was chosen in the cricket team as one of the three girls when she was 7 years old. Right. But I mean, if we wouldn't have played cricket with her while she was growing up, while my husband was, sort of taking her to the park, we would have said, no, just sit on the swing, don't play cricket. That's a boys' game. I mean, skills is the main thing. You want to play whatever game you want to play. You're good at it, play it. You want to go into this kind of a career, do it. I mean, so those kind of things, I feel that that is the only thing that I feel that we would have to really relook at the gender stereotype that we create unknowingly also, because we've grown up with that, right? So you've got to
Yeah.
introspect also quite a bit, while you're parenting is not easy. I'm sorry. I mean, it's the most difficult thing. But yeah, I think making them just, figuring out the values, respecting each person, being inclusive, being, uh, talking to people, communicating with them, even if you don't like an idea, talk about it, discuss, find out the logic. So, yeah, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
wonderful. Uh, okay, just one last question, and I will close this. Uh, uh, Personally and professionally, how has uh, working, in the social sector, what do you think is the social sector as a career option for women? What does it take, and what kind of a background do you need to have? What kind of a work life can you expect? A lot of women do work, but if women are looking at it, especially, and a lot of women who have been housewives, can they join? Generally, like when you look at yourself, your colleagues, uh, is it a lucrative space for women?
So at ETASHA, because I mean, my stint at ETASHA has been the longest, and I have been
Yeah,
recruiting for the projects as well. The only thing one looks at is that, are they champions for change? Do they want to get associated with projects where we are talking about certain things? Yes, some organizations or some projects would require basic qualifications, but I would say if you're really into immersing yourself in this kind of a sector, then come join. We need more and more champions, and there will always be doors open for people who really want to look at um, skill development, attitude change, behavior change, and working towards making the community economically, socially, and emotionally self-reliant. I think that's what we really need to work towards.
wonderful, wonderful. So I think we can go on. It's been really nice and insightful, talking about all of this. And you yourself are a role model, and you're creating so many role models. And I think that's wonderful work. And all the best. And I hope you continue doing that. So, and thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for taking out the time. From I'm sure you have a very busy schedule. So, thanks a lot for sharing. And I, hope to keep in touch and keep listening to more and more such stories of change. Uh, Thanks a lot.
I would love to be a part of that. And thank you so much. All the best.